So let's get into it. What's the latest?
Let's see. Before I say that, I should introduce Aza is the co-founder of the Center for Humane Technology. We did the Social Dilemma together. We're both in the Social Dilemma, and Aza also has a project that is using AI to translate animal communication called the Earth Species Project.
I was just reading something about whales yesterday. Is that regarding that?
Yeah, we work across a number of different species: dolphins, whales, orangutans, crows. And I think the reason why Tristan is bringing it up is because we're like this conversation, we're just going to sort of dive into like which way is AI taking us as a species, as a civilization. We've both been builders, and I've been working on AI since, really thinking about it since 2013, but like building since 2017.
So this thing that I was reading about with whales, that there's some new scientific breakthrough where they're understanding patterns in the whale's language. And what they were saying was the next step would be to have AI work on this and try to break it down into pronouns, nouns, verbs, or whatever they're using, and decipher some sort of language out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what most people don't realize is the amount that we actually already know. So dolphins, for instance, have names that they call each other by.
Wow.
Parrots, turns out, also have names that they're like the mother will like whisper in each different child's ear and like teach them their name to go back and forth until the child gets it.
Oh.
One of my favorite examples is actually off the coast of Norway every year. There's a group of false killer whales that speak one way and a group of dolphins that speak another way. And they come together in a superpod and hunt. And when they do, they speak a third different thing.
Whoa.
Yeah,
The whales and the dolphins.
The whales and the dolphins. So they have a kind of like interlingua or lingua franca.
What is a false killer whale?
It's a sort of a messed up name, but it's just it's a species related to killer whales. They look sort of like killer whales, but a little different.
So it's like in the dolphin genus.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
These guys.
Okay, I've seen those
It's like
before.
a fool's gold type thing. Like it looks like gold, but it's
God, they're cool looking.
Yeah.
Wow, how cool are they? God, look at that thing. That's amazing. And so they hunt together and use a third language.
Yeah, they speak a third different way.
Is it limited?
Oh, well, here's the thing. Like we
don't know.
We don't know yet.
thinking about.
I'll give you though my one other like my most favorite study, which is a 1994 University of Hawaii study, which they taught dolphins 2 gestures, and the first gesture was do something you've never done before, innovate. And what's crazy is that the dolphins like can understand that very abstract topic. They'll remember everything they've done before, and then they'll understand the concept of negation, not one of those things, and then they will invent some new thing they've never done before. So that's already cool enough, but then they'll say to 2 dolphins, they'll teach them the gestures, do something together. And they'll say to the 2 dolphins, do something you've never done before, together. And they go down and exchange sonic information, and they come up, and they do the same new trick that they have never done before at the same time.
They're coordinating.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I like that
Wow.
bridge.
So their language is so complex that it actually can encompass describing movements to each other.
It's what it appears. Like it doesn't, of course, prove representational language, but it certainly, for me, puts the like Occam's razor like on the other foot. Like it seems like there's really something there, and that's what the project I work on, Earth Species, is about. Because there's one way of diagnosing like all of the biggest problems that humanity faces, whether it's like climate or whether it's opioid epidemic or loneliness. It's because there's we're doing narrow optimization at the expense of the whole, which is another way of saying disconnection from ourselves, from each other.
What do you mean by that? Narrow optimization at the expense of the whole.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you optimize for GDP and more social media addiction and breakdown of shared reality is good for GDP, then we're going to do that. If you optimize for engagement and attention, giving people personalized outrage content is really good for that narrow goal, the narrow objective of getting maximum attention, causing the breakdown of shared reality. So in general, when we maximize for some narrow goal that doesn't encompass the actual whole, like social media is affecting the whole of human consciousness, but it's not optimizing for the health of this comprehensive whole of our psychological well-being, our relationships, human connection, presence, not distraction, our shared reality. So if you're affecting the whole, but you're optimizing for some narrow thing, that breaks that whole. So you're think of it like a irresponsible management, like you're kind of operating in an adolescent way because you're just caring about some small narrow thing while you're actually affecting the whole thing.